Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vance.
This'll just make us more famous, like Conan O'Brien.
We've got Chris.
It's great that you were able to go full dinosaur.
And I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. Oh, man, going full dinosaur. I wanted more dinosaur.
Now,
actually.
I mean, you
Forgot
should be
about
able
the
to come at
dinosaur.
like a small dinosaur, like say a velociraptor. That was going to be my other line.
That's some good lines throughout all this. Welcome to the show. Today we're reading some Avengers Academy. Something I didn't know anything about, actually. And of course, we're continuing the Ultimates. We're on issue number 7. Yeah, we'll get to all that. But let's get into Avengers Academy here. What is this thing? This is from 2010, written by Christos Gage, art by Mike McCone. Have we read anything by Christos Gage before? I can never remember.
I don't know if we've explicitly read anything by his. He was kind of a journeyman Marvel writer in, I would say, the mid 2000s. Like, he definitely worked with Dan Slott. Like, he would like co-write a few issues of Amazing Spider-Man with him. I want to say he wrote like some Thunderbolts one-shots during the Warren Ellis run when that was behind. One of which I think I colored, so I did color a comic for Christos Gage. Yeah, I know. Full disclosure, I guess. But I just remember him kind of jumping around, and when we decided to pick this book, I think I got it confused with the Avengers: The Initiative, which is also like another teen book, also kind of co-written by Christos Gage, which I think carries over right into Avengers Academy. And that him and Dan Slott wrote that book from like 2007 to 2010, and then Gage then launched to this. But then I also get it confused with Secret Warriors, which had the same artist as Avengers: The Initiative, Stefano Caselli. And so like there's all these like teen books in the like late 2010s or late 2000s, I'm sorry, that are all like kind of like blended together in my head.
And these are like Young Avengers, but it's not Young Avengers. That's a different book.
They're kind of runaways, but they're not runaways.
They're not runaways either. So this is like a post-Civil War kind of world that we're living in.
Dark Reign, even. This is the heroic age.
Right,
So,
Post-Secret Invasion.
No, this is
after
isn't it branded
the
the heroic
Skrulls,
age?
Yeah.
Yes, it is the heroic age, because that's after Norman Osborn finally gets, because Secret Invasion ended for some reason with Norman Osborn being in charge of the government because he shot a Skrull. And so then we had a year of dog shit stories.
It was Dark Reign is what it was, where he ran the Dark Avengers, which was like whatever. It was the Thunderbolts. That Warren Ellis's Thunderbolts, but it was like Scorpion in the Venom suit pretending to be a Spider-Man, Bullseye pretending to be Hawkeye. It was a time.
Yeah. Moonstone pretending to be Captain Marvel.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that ended with the 4-issue event Siege. And then I guess Marvel was like, we've been just like having heroes fighting heroes for like too long. Let's get back to basics, the heroic age. Which I don't like the covers of these. I don't like their trade dress.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
I do remember this was like the last era that I was buying like new monthly Marvel comics, because this is Steve Rogers came back, Daredevil had the Mark Waid, and I think Chris Samney.
Yeah. After their own like Shadowland kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So they were like, no, we're consciously making an effort to do like almost throwbacky, like characters will smile in the books. It's not just going to be like grim and gritty like it has been for like the last 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as we'll see in the Ultimates, the Marvel universe became very ultimified.
So I'd never read Avengers Academy. Vince, you'd never read it either, but Chris, you had, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Vince, did I misspeak for you?
Yeah, I've never read this.
Okay.
This was kind of in my era where I was starting to get out of like reading like current comics. I think I was probably just Daredevil, Captain America.
I think I was completely out at this time, possibly. Maybe I was still reading some stuff digitally, but it would not have been the new Kid Avengers book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Siege right before this was like the last event I read live. And then I think everything else. I think I read like Avengers versus X-Men like in trade, but I was done after like keeping up with the modern Marvel universe and reading every number one by this point. Which is
Yeah,
a
and
shame because this one's pretty good. I'm glad that Chris picked it up.
yeah, I'm also like I'm calling myself out for being like how ridiculous that you wouldn't read an Avengers kids book, since honestly they're very often very good.
Yeah,
Or,
they are.
like,
This one
in
actually,
general, yeah.
this one, as we'll learn after when the twist happens, like this one is a good melding of about like 3 or 4 books that we've read that I liked.
Yeah, honestly,
Yes.
it really, really is. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, Chris, you'd read this, you recommended it, for good reason. Anything you want to say about it before we jump into it?
Yeah, I mean, so I always liked, especially, back in the day, I like Generation X was my favorite, like 90s X-Men comic, which was like the
Yeah.
fourth most important like team. But I was like, I like it. It's about like teenagers. There's a lot of angst. And so like and then Runaways in the 2000s was such a great book. This is, as Vince kind of alluded to, kind of a twist on Runaways. You have new heroes, and they're interesting. They're also like they don't know what they're doing. Some of them are like very clearly like could be evil. Some of them are just like look evil, and that's really the only evil thing about them.
Hmm.
But some of them are like actively bad. And so it's like an interesting kind of like, oh, what are they going to do? And then it has a good supporting cast. It has Quicksilver, who I love. Quicksilver being a supporting cast member in the book, and that they deliberately call back to the X Factor issue that we read, where he gets psychoanalyzed and how
Mm-hmm.
he's just like constantly annoyed. It's like they like that X Factor, which I also love. And so like he's there. You have several new warriors kind of trying to fix the team after the Civil War and all of that, which was 4 years earlier. And it's just kind of like to me, it's interesting, even though Hank Pym is in it, who I don't like. Everything around it, I was like, oh, this is actually really good, and I liked Mike McCone's art a lot. Unfortunately, we read all of the issues he does
Yeah, he jumps off at
because
this point.
Oh, he's done
yeah,
after that.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
issue
letters.
9 is his last one.
Yeah. I think he does the covers for the rest
Wow.
of the year, but I think the letters are. I think he helped out with some Amazing Spider-Man before this in the Brand New Day era.
Yes, he did some because I think he works with Christos Gage on Brand New Day Spider-Man too.
Yeah, I believe that's accurate. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
so Mike McCone, I definitely had seen by this point.
Yeah. And I don't think we outright said, but we're reading the first 9 issues. We're not going to go through them all one by one, but Chris had said he really loved issue number 9, but we wanted to have enough context. So I think we're just going to kind of talk about it all with more of a general swath and make sure we kind of try and hit on everything here. But I guess we can probably just start with the premise, right? That this is the heroic age, that we've got. It's sort of a post crazy Norman Osborn was in charge world. We've got all these kids that he was experimenting on in order to try and make new super people, or whatever, or bring powers out, just make bad guys. You know how he is. And various other young people, and they are now at the Avengers Academy. And they're training to be the next generation of Avengers. And just to skip forward, the big cliffhanger at the end of the first issue is that they find out that the Avengers only picked them because they're kind of at high risk of becoming villains, based on like the trauma they've gone through, their personalities, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case it is. Like for whatever reason, they're all just like kind of on the Avengers watch list. And the Avengers are going by the adage of keep your enemies closer. Not really. They're not enemies. They really are trying to help these kids and make sure they don't turn into villains. But they're also lying to the kids about it.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
because they're like we believe in you and we want you to become the best of the best in the next generation, and they're like they're fucking lying to us. They're
Hmm.
scared of us, which I like that some of the characters like they're scared of us. We can exploit this, but I also this is where it's like it's not just it's runaways, in that they're like all like kind of just like kids that like don't have anybody, and then it's kind of also like the like like your young Avengers, your team book that like we want to be like good heroes, but then there's also this weird like Thunderbolts edge to it also of like
Yeah.
they're all like the team explicitly says they want to be heroes, but that like they could go bad at any moment, and
Hmm.
some of them actively do want to, and are scheming. And that's our because like is it finesse? That's very much like filling like the Moonstone kind of role. That she's like very smart and conniving.
Well, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair either.
Because finesse is more like she is like on the spectrum and is like really good, but she is just like she doesn't understand like things. So she like she doesn't have a moral compass is how she could turn evil.
Is she the one
Not
that trains with
she's like
Quicksilver?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more that she just doesn't understand like right from wrong, that she could easily become a villain. But like it's more so let's go through the characters just so if anyone
Yeah, I
listening
think that's
who doesn't
a
know
good
who
time. Yeah.
these characters are. So finesse is kind of like the Steve Ditko-esque, like she's the agile, like jumpy one. She's kind of like Mockingbird, I guess, is probably her closest like power analog, or Taskmaster is who she's just like a girl version of.
And there's kind of she theorizes that she's Taskmaster's daughter because their powers are so similar. She has like a photographic memory in terms of being able to like learn combat styles and pick up information and all that kind of stuff. So super genius, super good at everything, but like no technical like superpowers, in terms of physical strengths or anything like that.
Right. So yeah, that's why I compare her to like a Daredevil character.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then there's Hazmat. She has to wear like a hazmat suit. That's like her costume, because like her skin, she's basically she's not a mutant, they say, because this is 2010, and no one's allowed to be a mutant.
Oh yeah.
And so I guess her family exposed her to like Roxxon chemicals or whatever. So she basically has her mutant power when she's about to like sleep with her boyfriend for the first time and gives him like cancer. And they realize that she has like weaponized like all of her saliva and everything else is like toxic to everyone.
Messed up.
And so she gets experimented, her and another character get experimented on by Norman Osborn, who lies to them and says that they're going to like cure them. It does not cure them. It's just to make them more powerful. Vale is similar. She is also, I guess, technically not a mutant. Hers doesn't really even make sense how she has powers. She turns into any kind of like gaseous form as long as she knows what she's turning into. And she basically got embarrassed at school and her powers manifested. You could tell Christo Gage wrote this thinking that he was going to have at least 2 mutants, but they were like, no, they're not mutants. Then there's Stryker, who is, I guess, Electro's son, ? Or someone, because he has like a fame hungry mother. It's implied that she knows how he has powers. But he has electricity powers.
And he's kind of the resident shithead for the most part.
Yes. He's like the one who seems like morality-wise the most likely to turn evil. And then there's Metal, who looks evil because he looks like a red skeleton man.
He looks like the Red
strong
Skull.
Strong guy mixed with the Red Skull.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like his design, and it was a major reason why I didn't want to read this book. I did not, because I think like his whole like all of his skin is metal, but he looks like a skull with like eyes, like the Crypt Keeper. And I didn't like the design. I don't like it, and he's smiling all the time, but not like scary smiling.
I do like that they call attention to the fact that the first time they like go out in public, people are like, "Are you the Red Skull?"
Yeah,
and he's just like, "No, obviously I'm not."
Yeah, and I said strong guy. It is more Colossus mixed with Red Skull in terms of his look, but he fills the strong guy role on the team, so I just can't help but think of it.
Also, a little of like he looks big and brawny, but he's a softie.
Yeah. He's also kind of the Colossus. They even in the issue 1, like the back pages, they explicitly are like, imagine if Colossus couldn't turn back to normal. I was like, yeah, I get it. And then Reptile, who is, I believe, the only character who had been in anything else. He was in Avengers: The Initiative. He basically has like a stone or something that lets him turn into a dinosaur man. He's also, believe it or not, been the character. I think part of it is Christos Gage is like works on animated stuff, but part of it is he also has like the most cartoon powers in terms of like he turns into a dinosaur.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that.
You can't beat
Like
that.
if you need a toyetic or a something to appeal to children, like he's in Amazing Friends, he's in Marvel Superhero Adventures. It's like, yeah, we want the guy who turns into a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But what
In my head,
oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just say I thought his name was pronounced Reptile because there's no E, you know, but I could still see it being Reptile. I just thought like Reptile was cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think, Vince?
I was going with Reptile as well, but you know, it's probably just for Googleability, you know.
For what?
Trademarkability and Googleability.
Oh, SEO. What you
SEO,
talking
that's a
about?
better one, right? Oh yeah. But yeah, like I like that he like can't create matter or not. So like they're like you can turn into a dinosaur, but you're gonna still like be the same size. Like if you like dedicate matter to having like a tail, like you're gonna be shorter. I thought that was a fun touch.
Right. He can't turn into like a T-Rex.
No, well he could, but a tiny T Rex.
Which, I mean, that wouldn't make sense. It'd be better to turn into a smaller dinosaur.
I don't know. I think a tiny T-Rex is fun. Is that all 6 of them?
That's the main cast, and then there's the teachers who are all like regular characters. We can very quickly run through them. It's Giant Man, Tigra, Quicksilver, Justice, Speedball, and Jocasta.
You son of a bitch! You tricked us into reading '90s Avengers again. I'm like Jocasta and Justice are here. What are we doing? What are we doing, Chris? Like, no wonder.
Your favorite character from year 1 of this podcast.
I think it's like episode 2. I'm like, who is this jabroni Avenger? You know, everybody's friend Justice. He's actually been around quite a bit. So
yeah,
was he a new warrior also with Speedball?
Yeah.
Yes, both Justice and Speedball were new warriors.
Okay. And then he got moved up to like the Avengers in the 90s. Is that what happened?
Yes, at the end of the 90s, he joined the Avengers, and then in the 2006 they demoted him back to the New Warriors, and then he was a relatively important character in Avengers: The Initiative, and then a minor character in this.
Okay. There we go. We've got our cast then.
We've got our cast. So yeah, like I said, we're not going to go through like one by one with all these issues, but just hitting some of the important beats. They learn that the Avengers have been lying to them about everything, and they kind of have this decision to make amongst themselves, but really they're all just like, we're just gonna kind of do nothing for a little while and see how things shake out and figure out what we want to do. Because for now, like, this is still a pretty good gig, and yeah, why not? Makes sense to me. So they've got a lot of guest teachers. Actually, one of the things I really love about this comic as well is how much of a great rotating cast it has without feeling like it's all kind of shoehorned or like, forced in there. Because they're part of this Avengers team, and they have guest instructors coming in like Iron Fist, who's teaching them this and that, and these little kids who are kind of maybe villains, or like, man, this guy wishes he was Asian, doesn't he? That's one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing.
The Iron Fist joke. Yeah. It's very feels. I mean, Christos Gage again had written TV shows and worked on the Daredevil Netflix show, but it feels like a TV writer in that there are like deliberate guest stars in like individual issues.
But that's good because it makes each issue actually feel like unique and individual, which is good in like this kind of comics era. Like each issue matters. So I appreciate that.
And I also really like how, like, honestly, this might be a book with the largest cast that like where everybody like kind of has a little bit of something going on, and I've got 6 brand new kids and like all these other teachers, and like Speedball's cutting himself, and like he's not a major focus of this whole book here, but I'm just like, oh wow, I didn't expect a page of Speedball cutting himself. You know what I mean?
He was Penance back then.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Penance. His name is Penance now. And little things like that where I'm just like, this book is covering a lot of ground, and it almost feels like a Marvel Universe book more than just this team book, you know. Anyways,
Yeah,
if it's not clear, I really love this book so far. I think it's better than Thunderbolts from the first 9 issues. I think it's great.
and it does have like it has a lot of callbacks to earlier stories without it feeling too much. I mean, and there are like deliberate history lessons where they're like, remember
Yeah.
when Quicksilver did blah blah blah, but it's like when Justice is like, hey, my ex fiance actually got cancer from her mutant powers, so like I know what you're going through, Vale, and like Vale immediately falls in love with him
Mm-hmm.
from him having this conversation with her. But you're like, oh yeah, that's a good. I forget if we read that much of Avengers where she's Firestar started to get cancer.
I don't think we did.
But yeah, that was a plot point in Avengers, and I guess in New Warriors as well. So like that's it. It makes sense that he would mention that, and it's like Reptile when he is like his little amulet presses into him, he's seeing like Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy. Like it's very much like part of the bigger Marvel universe without feeling like, I know y'all can push back on like Kurt Busiek stuff feeling too much like you're just reading like footnotes.
Well, I never pushed back on that.
I did.
But it's like, to me, it doesn't really feel like that. There is some of it where you're getting like Giant Man's like history of his mental breakdowns and stuff, but without too much. Although, so issue 2, Giant Man shows Finesse like a like brief history of Quicksilver going insane.
Mm-hmm.
And like this video is like, and of course, the last time he turned evil, it turned out to be a Skrull when he fought the X Factor. And she like goes to Quicksilver and is like, that wasn't a Skrull.
I want to know how the Avengers, like, who made that, who produced that documentary, you know? Like on Quicksilver and how he turned evil, but also it's like only internal and for train. No, it's not internal. It's just a document. I don't know. It seems like too much information for a documentary to have. Too personal.
Like the video production in the Marvel universe, and I'll jump ahead to the Ultimates for half a second. They talk about
Sure.
like how they sold DVDs of the Hulk destroying New York City, and I'm like, people died. A lot of people died, and we're just like, let's just watch the highlights of Captain America beating up the Hulk and the Hulk destroying everybody. I'm like, and they got it out within like weeks. It just seems like it seems really gauche. Like whatever their like video production world is, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But is this probably closer to like WWE production, like the one in here? Like they have like a video team that like hypes everybody up. And
I guess.
Like an edit, like it's just someone who's good at editing together video packages. But I think that's also like reality TV, like really any video editor who can jazz something up.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it's like talking about him going evil. Like, how do you, like, you got to put in one of those like doom, like a lot of, it's one of those like a sad documentary.
It would be a TikTok now of like y'all remember what happened with Quicksilver when he went crazy? Because I remember.
No, it would
And
be
then
like a
Stitch incoming,
four-part
he was
true
a
crime
Skrull.
adaptation.
Oh, I think the Avengers, actually, if they got like the gaming historian, I feel like his vibe would actually work for the Avengers.
I would love the gaming historian.
I'm gonna actually reread. Yeah. I'm gonna reread the Quicksilver documentary in his voice, and I think that might, change things for me.
I'm gonna read it in the voice of that guy that got canceled for plagiarism. That YouTube essayist.
Not the Dead
Wait,
Cells,
who was it?
IGN writer or a different one?
No, it was the guy that H Bomber guy had like a 3-hour video, and an hour of it was just about how that guy plagiarized everything.
That's
Whoa.
right. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, she realizes that Quicksilver faked his last evil turn and pretended to be a Skrull so that people wouldn't be mad at him, and convinces Quicksilver to teach her like off books like Magneto stuff.
Yeah, 'cause she just wants to learn about it. She wants to see everything.
Yep. She is my favorite character, and again, like I resent you comparing.
Yeah,
her to
I think
Moonstone,
you're right.
Like Moonstone is like calculating. She's like
Yeah.
planning.
I feel
Finesse is not planning. She just wants to learn, and she doesn't care.
I think
Yeah.
you're right. I agree with you. I redact my earlier statement. Or Chris, you're right.
Good job.
I felt like there was a Thunderbolts vibe going on, but Moonstone might have been the wrong example.
Yeah.
That's okay. We forgive you. So we're on to they go to the raft for a field trip, which seems unnecessary, but they're gonna
I
take.
do feel like it was slightly too early to do a crossover issue or a
I
two-parter
agree.
like this.
But they really wanted to, I think, hype up the Thunderbolts. Excuse me, the Thunderbolts as well. And so they've got Luke Cage running the raft. I didn't realize he was running the raft at any
He
point.
did. I remember. I think I was done with Thunderbolts after.
Mm-hmm.
He may have taken. Did he? I know he took it over. I don't remember if he took it over because Norman Osborn and the Warren Ellis Thunderbolts all got moved up to Dark Avengers, which then Bendis wrote. So I don't know what the Thunderbolts book was doing during that time. It may have been the Luke Cage team even then.
I feel like he was doing New Avengers until Heroic Age, and then they were like with the Resistance or whatever against Norman Osborn. So I think it was a new status quo, and like Juggernaut is here as like a good guy. It's a weird, like, Thunderbolts has really lost like what made it Thunderbolts at this point. I was like, what does any of this have to, except Moonstone being there as a villain, and they're like, Moonstone, give us your psychological impression of the heroes, but don't do anything evil.
Okay, so the Thunderbolts comic got completely renamed to Dark Avengers during that time. Okay, so the Thunderbolts comic, I guess, just stopped then?
Yeah.
And then...
I guess. And then they restarted it and with a new number 1 or something with the Heroic Age.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. That was later. After the Heroic Age, the Thunderbolts got renamed to Dark Avengers. What the fuck? Okay. That's confusing. Okay. So starting in issue 144 of Thunderbolts, I think it became just, it's criminals, but they're doing hero stuff. Like that became like the small scope of the book. Or like the log line. But that's like Suicide Squad. I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of lost what made it special like during Civil War, I feel like. And so I don't know what this is. It did not make me want to, I did not read the Thunderbolts because like for the other perspective on this, read Thunderbolts. Like, no.
Hard pass.
I don't think we need to.
Like I said, I'm glad Moonstone's still a character, but everything else I'm pretty bored by.
So anyways, at the raft over here in Avengers Academy world, they're like, hey, Norman Osborn's being held there, isn't he? And Hazmat in particular really wants to go kill Norman Osborn. But she tells a couple of the others, like, hey, Norman Osborn tortured you too. Like, I think maybe we can talk to him and figure out how to turn ourselves back. Do you want to like break free from the field trip and go talk to him? And Hazmat also has like EMP powers that the Avengers don't know about. So she uses that to kind of trigger a thing so she can. So her and Metal and Vale are going to go talk to Norman Osborn. But Hazmat actually wants to kill him. Yep. But Norman Osborn kind of talks to them and convinces them that they're maybe like meant to be evil, that kind of thing. And they're all like, what do we do?
Yeah, he's like, I definitely can cure you if you even want to be cured.
Yeah, that kind of thing. You know Norman Osborn. But they end up not killing him. They run away. They do end up like who ends up, is it Hawkeye? Someone ends up talking to Norman Osborn, who's like, yeah, your kids were in here. They were gonna kill me. They like, you know, they tore down the cage and everything, and he didn't try to escape because Norman Osborn would prefer to walk out a free man instead of like, you know, escaping from jail. Yeah. That's Man-Thing is in there.
Yeah, also a member of the Thunderbolts, even though he doesn't talk.
Is he really a member of the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, Juggernaut says he is.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like I said, I'm like, what is this? Who's reading this book at this point? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Yeah. I really like when some prisoners breaking out and hazmat's like, get back or I'll give you cancer. He's like, man, I remember when they just like threatened to hit us.
That was funny.
I like
I
that.
also liked Vermin, the very low level Spider-Man villain, fights Tigra, and at the end you just see her like literally holding him by like the scruff, like he is an animal.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I guess her cat instincts have taken over. He's like a rat man and she's a cat woman. So she's like fully just like caught him and I guess is going to drop him in Hank Pym's shoe or something.
Yep, yep. But I think that's it for the most part for the raft adventure. The kids lie about the power outage. They're like, no, we don't know anything about that. It just happened, and we thought we'd take advantage and go see Norman Osborn because we kind of talked about doing it. And they're in a little bit of trouble, but they're fine. Then
I'm just looking now at the Jeff Parker Thunderbolts issues, and like John Walker is like the warden of the prison, the raft.
U.S. agent.
Yeah, but he's like in a
my
wheelchair.
God.
It looks like.
Whoa,
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
It is interesting seeing the Avengers Academy like in a different art style, though. I'll tell you that. That is an interesting.
Who was doing the art over there?
Kev Walker. It was kind of like a little manga-ish. It's not very. There's like no detailed backgrounds. It's interesting. It's odd. So this is like Thunderbolts. I want to say like issue like 146. Is this?
So it is still going. It's about to be redone as
in
Dark
175.
Avengers.
175 is going to get ended, and then back at 190 it'll go back to Thunderbolts numbering again.
Okay. So what else we got going on here after the whole raft trip? Who's the shithead guy? Stryker. He really wants the Avengers to go public. He's kind of the Avengers Academy to go public because he's really in it for the fame more than anything. We get a little bit of backstory from him, which it's interesting. We don't need to talk about all of it in detail, but basically what ends up happening is they're out on the town. I don't know what they were doing and what they shrunk down Metal and
they were seeing Wicked, weren't they?
Oh, were they seeing Wicked?
Yeah, because somebody, I forget if it was Stryker or someone else was like, oh, is this supposed to be like a metaphor that you're taking us to see this Broadway show about someone who becomes a villain?
It is, yeah. Real deep. Everyone called her a wicked witch, but she did good things anyway. Yeah, I didn't realize that. And yeah, Hazmat and Metal are shrunken down into Hank Pym's pocket, and the others didn't know until after the play, which is strange to me.
I guess they're not looking over at Hank Pym's lap to see the two like action figure sized people watching.
But yeah, but it's also weird that they didn't say anything about like too bad Metal and Hazmat couldn't come like on the way there, Nobody mentioned that. But that's okay. But on their way out, they get attacked by a supervillain. It's Whirlwind. And he's going after Hank Pym because we haven't mentioned, Hank Pym is currently going by the Wasp because Janet is dead. And he wants to honor her name. And so he's the Wasp at the moment.
That's right, because she died like off camera in Secret Invasion, right?
Yes, the last issue of Secret Invasion. In something that was so poorly written and drawn that it was unclear exactly how she died. She had like a bomb inside her or something that made her one with the universe or some bullshit.
I think she's fine now. I think she's back alive.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But Whirlwind, I guess, was in love with Janet and is going after Hank for like killing her and for taking her name, even though it wasn't him, it was a Skrull. Yeah.
Famously, one of the few along with like Egghead, one of Hank Pym's few like villains that is solely his because he's like in love with Jan.
That's funny. Yeah, poor Hank Pym doesn't really have any villains, does he? I guess just that guy. But they kind of have to go public with the Avengers Academy because they got attacked and they saved everybody, that kind of thing. And they have a little press conference. We got some people, some hookups happening. We find out that Justice just has a random girlfriend, I guess, because Vale walks
Yes.
in on them. And Vale had the crush on Justice, but he's an older teacher, and then Vale goes and has sex with Stryker.
Yes,
And I guess
the
they're a thing.
incredibly minor character, Ultra Girl, who then became,
Mm,
I believe, Ms. Marvel for a while after Carol became Captain Marvel. They're like, well, she can become Ms. Marvel, but then a much more popular character took the name.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never heard of Ultra Girl, really. I feel like ever. Ultra Girl? I don't
Yeah,
know.
she was in a mini series in the 90s where she kind of joins the New Warriors at the end of that mini series, and then Dan Slott brought her back in Avengers: The Initiative. And yes, Justice and Firestar had broken up, and so they get together in Avengers: The Initiative. So she's not really a character in this at all, but Justice does have a girlfriend basically. What was the other kind of like soap opera drama is that um Finesse has started just like casually sleeping with Reptile, and also like um, doesn't like Stryker.
Yeah.
And then we also find out that Stryker set up the whole like whirlwind thing, like that his mom is like a gold digger and like a social climber, and that she like orchestrated this happening. He first got his powers because like she had set him up with some like Jeffrey Epstein-ish uh, type guy when he was a child, and he electrocuted him to death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like she's bad. Stryker is obviously the
Seems
one
bad.
who could become a villain the most because he mostly just wants to be famous.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for that issue for the most part.
And that's issue
Uh,
5, right?
yeah. Issue 6, we got a Jessica Jones appearance.
Yes. This is the full dinosaur issue.
Yeah, full dinosaur.
Never go full dinosaur.
Yeah, we don't need to talk too much about it. I feel like as the leader of the team, Reptile is actually the least important character so far. Like he's had the least kind of going on in terms of uh I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's just he seems the least interesting to me. Like just kind of he has less agency than everyone else right
Well,
now.
it
But he
also
is
took
technically the leader. Go ahead.
well, I mean, it does take 6 issues for him to get like his like
Right.
central issue. I don't know if we had said before, like each like the framing device is always like kind of
Yeah.
like Lost, I guess, is like this, which is such a dated reference now. But like they're the focus character for flashbacks and like getting fleshed out, and I think he's the last one to even get an issue like this.
Yeah, he's the last
Yes.
one, and then issues 7, 8, and 9 just don't focus on him as much.
Yeah.
But that's okay because he is kind of like the wrap-up character a little bit, where it's like here's kind of all the problems with the team, and it's kind of on my shoulders, and he's like not okay with any of it, and he really does want to try and be a hero, but it's not working, which also makes me think like he's the one who's gonna snap and turn evil. But I don't know what I'm talking about. That's my guess.
I also this is the hot take for me. I always think it's really dorky when super teams vote on a hero or vote on a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I always think that's like a dorky concept. I don't know why I've never been like so like we just demonstrate we're leadership like, but I guess you need like a team captain like in basketball or something. So
Yeah.
And more
Somebody
like
who
you
talks
want
to the
everyone to
refs.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they didn't have the vote. They just, you know what I mean? They kind of just told us off screen instead of having people like a cheesy panel with everyone raising their hands or something like that and smiling. Like, I don't want that. Get that out of my book.
or they're like our leader Reptile. I'm like, who the fuck decided that? Like I'd also be upset with that.
Yes, exactly.
A side note, on the covers of several of these issues, they've had like IGN.com quotes, and this one is like the best Avenger book on the market. Which did IGN Comics just fucking love this book in the time? Because it seems like there was a lot of like positive love for, at least in the letter pages and these quotes on the covers. It seemed like it was a very popular book that for me to like it not be on my radar at all.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, it benefited from being kind of like Avengers: The Initiative, but without the name. In Avengers, this was obviously, this is coming out in 2010, so it's like Avengers is becoming like a brand. Um, so like it's kind of cruising off the name a little bit, but I think it's surprisingly good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Avengers the
Mm-hmm.
movie is only 1 year away, isn't it? Or 2 years
Yeah,
away.
so there's like a trailer, like Iron Man 2 is out, and they're like obviously setting up for the Avengers at that point.
And this
So
one's just surprisingly really good for like I wouldn't expect much out of like the teen Avengers book. This is surprisingly way better than I would have expected. So I can guess the writers would be evangelizing like, no, really, like this one's really good. Check this one out. This one needs some love.
Yeah. So let's see here. So moving on. We're just jumping into the next trade here. I was going by digital trades. We learned that Tigra has a little cat son who is half Hank Pym apparently, because a Skrull is actually the father, but the Skrulls used their real DNA, so it is technically Hank's DNA. Oh boy, I didn't know any of that was
I think it was
happening.
like so sleeper cell, like the Scrolls didn't even know they were
Yeah.
undercover.
Oh my god, like Battlestar.
Yeah,
Yeah, so in
exactly.
Avengers Initiative, Tigra got pregnant and Hank Pym was the father. So then it was revealed Hank Pym was a Skrull the whole time. So like, oh, well, it's still his child.
Yeah. And also he's trying to bring Janet back to life. And that's a little thing that's happening.
My baby daddy's trying to resurrect his ex. It's a good, it's a good time for her. She's having a time.
My baby daddy is going around calling himself by his ex's name while trying to bring her back to life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing a costume that is based on her clothes.
Yeah.
But it's okay because my baby daddy is actually a dead alien pretending to be this guy. It's all right.
Yeah. So Tigra wants to raise the kid on her own. She wants to be a single mother, but because there's some weird cat shit that Hank wouldn't understand, basically. But if anything happens to her, she wants Hank to take care of him. Great. Also, all of a sudden, everyone is worried about Hank wanting to bring Janet back to life, because that's also kind of weird and might not work out great. We've got I forget why they explained it, but these Avengers Academy kids, they don't have like an official team name. Like Avengers Academy isn't their name, is it? These kid Avengers, they are now in charge of transporting the Absorbing Man to somewhere, like prison to prison or something like that. I don't know. But we've got the adults here as well. Justice is there, Hank is there, all that. And of course the Absorbing Man escapes. Have we read anything with the Absorbing Man before? Friend of the show?
Absorbing Man. Yes.
I'm sure we have.
Did
he was
fight
in
the
Secret
Thunderbolts?
Wars.
I think he did fight the Thunderbolts. Yeah, he was in Secret Wars as well with Titania, his girlfriend,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love the Absorbing Man. I think he's stupid and great. And they talked about how the only way to get through to him is like mental stuff. So Hank Pym like reveals like, I'm Giant Man now, and also we're gonna grow so big that we see the most cosmic stuff in the world, and this is a power I've never used before, and I'm never gonna use it again. But this moment right here with the Absorbing Man is the most important moment where I'm gonna use this power. We're gonna grow big and we're gonna see these Celestials, and it's gonna blow your mind, dude. And that's how they beat the Absorbing Man. They blow his mind. Whoa. And then afterwards Hank realizes, God, if seeing that stuff blew Absorbing Man's mind for like, he saw it for like 10 seconds, boy, Jan's been living in there for months. She's gonna be fucking crazy. And he turns off the life support machine or whatever computerized thing it is, But then we see Vale sneak in and turn it back on. Whoa. Whoa. Cliffhangers. Um, then we also got an issue with the Hood where this I didn't expect any of this at all, but like some TMZ type site has released a clip of Tigra getting brutally assaulted by the Hood, and it's being treated like a sex tape in the media, but it's not. It's just kind of like her being embarrassed by like losing this fight, but it's kind of like that's where they're kind of going with all of it.
Yeah.
And
I do
go
feel
ahead.
like it's Christos Gage kind of like dealing with like the fallout and somewhat trying to fix Brian Michael Bendis's dog shit New Avengers writing. Because like he introduced like that scene of the videotape scene was in New Avengers, and at the time people were like, "What is this? Like this is just like to show how cool the Hood is." He just like beats the shit out of Tiger, who just screams, and calls her a cow, and knocks her unconscious. And you're like, "Oh, the Hood is so cool and tough," and you're just like, "This is really fucked up."
Yeah.
And so like this is kind of like New Avengers then never addressed that. It's just like, oh, we have to fight the Hood.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's very weird. But I like for as difficult of a subject matter as it kind of covers, I think this book does do a really good job with it in terms of talking about like, okay, not being embarrassed by it, asking for help, all that kind of stuff.
Well, and a lot of nuance because like the Avengers, like, let's go fuck him up, and Tigra's like, let's not. That's not what I want. Like I think
Right.
it's more nuanced
Right.
than you would expect.
Right. And it's like, I mean, it's partially because like, well, obviously she had that thought. She wanted to do that, but it's just like, well, no, I didn't do that. I did like, yes, I did like beat up the Hood's henchmen or whatever during the Dark Reign, but I did not want to like murder the Hood or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yes, her students are like, I know, let's catch the Hood and we're going to show.
So okay, so first off, the Hood is in jail currently. But they're watching a videotape of him or something, and they're like, "Wait a minute! I've studied his movements, his facial manners. That's not the Hood. That's someone who's definitely gotten plastic surgery to look like him." So they managed to track him down, go find him, beat him up. One of them films it, and they put it on YouTube. And that's it. And that's it. And some other guy shows up and shoots at them, so they run. Um,
Yeah,
and like
crazily they don't like catch him. Someone shot a gun and they leave, and it's just like, what? Wait, what? Because like Finesse is there, right? And Vale, who can turn into mist, and it's like
Mhm.
between the two of you, you couldn't stop a gun.
Yeah.
Like
But
Striker kind of makes sense because he just has electrical powers. You could just shoot him, I guess, with a gun.
yeah, and I think they're all amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. They're not thinking if their whole goal was just to beat up the Hood. And they put it online. Tigra is so pissed afterwards that she's like, "You're all expelled. You're out. Go home. Whatever." Um, and at that point, what's her Finesse, who thinks Taskmaster is her father, goes to Quicksilver and says, "Hey, can you help me find Taskmaster?" And they said to go home, and so that's me trying to go home. And issue 9 is kind of focused on Tigra talking about all this stuff and finally being like, "Okay, it's fine. They can come back." And also on Finesse going to try and find Taskmaster. They head to some warehouse, her and Quicksilver, where there's some files, and they don't really find anything. But so Quicksilver is gonna head back to, everything. The Avengers. He shouldn't even be out there with Finesse, anyways. But Finesse is gonna keep on looking for any clues or anything like that. And she gets greeted by Taskmaster when she's alone, and they have a one-on-one fight. And I really like this fight where as they're fighting, every move that Finesse uses, Taskmaster is calling out like, "Oh yeah, you got that from this Avengers file where of this fight. Oh yeah, Captain America versus blah 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 from 19 whatever." And it's just kind of a fun moment where he's like they both have this photographic memory of all these fighting styles, and he's just trying to he's just fighting her and picking it all out.
He's fun as hell in
And
this issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
an amazing Taskmaster issue. Um, and he finally kind of stops fighting her afterwards, and they talk it out a little bit. Um, and she introduced herself by saying, "I think you're my dad," and they just kind of fought. But they talk about it a little bit, and he's like, "If there were a lot of broads. If there was someone, I don't really remember." And he kind of tells her like his memory is fading. Like he remembers all this combat stuff that he's watching and stuff like that, but his short-term memory, like the stuff he did a week ago, is fading. So something she might have to worry about in the future. He was also hoping that like fighting with her and seeing with her style would like jog his memory and maybe tell him who she is, because he's seen her on the news and he's heard the rumors that she might be his daughter. But she didn't have her own fighting style, because just like him, it's all just like stuff that she's copied from other people, and it's like kind of a disappointment for him. I was like, oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's some good shit.
Yeah. I again, this is why we read this. 'Cause I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
this issue. Like it's almost like he has like, some kind of very specific kind of Alzheimer's or something where he just is like, I'm not going to remember you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, that sucks.
Yep. I like the moments where he's calling out all the old, like Golden Age Avengers, not Golden Age, like the 1940s.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, Golden Age.
Characters.
All that stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, those tapes are better. You gotta see some of those fighting stuff. Like that's cute."
Yeah. And then she responds like, I was personally like fighting with Steve Rogers like a week ago. He showed me how to do this. And then that basically he's just like, yeah, it's a pretty sweet gig you got. Like, just keep doing what you're doing, and then if like they shut it down or something, just like sell your secrets to the highest bidder or something like that. I don't know.
Honestly, it's pretty good advice, I think.
He's a dad. He's just making sure that his little baby girl has a good job and she's taken care of. He's like, stay in school, but once school is over, you got some opportunities.
Yeah. It is, that he's just like, yeah, I wish, like, he gets kind of, I think it's Dark Reign or something. He's like brought in as in like Avengers the Initiative or something like that, which is, they mentioned that like all his DNA has been like erased from the government files. So she's like, would you take a DNA test? And he's like, no. He's like, no, yeah, I'm probably your dad, but I refuse to confirm this.
Yep.
I found it really sweet because he is kind of a piece of shit, but you're like, but in such an endearing way, and they are so alike where you're just like, yeah, I understand kind of like who this character is better for having this encounter. And it is, like I said, it's strangely sad when he's like, I hoped that you would like stick in my brain if I fought you, but you won't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's bittersweet. But it shows that like he has a heart, and he's like he's trying. He's like, because he's the first line is like, there's a lot of girls, I don't know, but it's like, but I did want to try to know. Like that is sweet. It's a long walk for his character, so that makes it just like that much more satisfying.
Yeah.
It is weirdly sweet. Taskmaster, so this is really good.
He's great. We all love the Taskmaster. Friend of the show.
He's great. I think he's a great character because he's such a like pragmatist in terms of like whenever he's defeated, he's just like, yeah, screw it. Like he has no no values or like beliefs. He's just like, yeah, if they pay me to do this and that guy's gone, like I give up then. Like he is not like loyal, like as much as the occasional character like that is fun. It's so great that he's basically a Venture Brothers character where he will just like be like, okay, it's quitting time. I'm done fighting this guy.
Yep. All right. Well, that was the last one that we read. I think
We also had in that same issue, Tigra like comes to terms a little bit with the Hood
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
She gets outvoted by all the other teachers and are like, okay, you got, because basically everyone is like, what does it teach them if we just kicked them out for doing this?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to essentially drive them into being villains. And she's like, oh, I guess.
Hmm.
And then watches the video of them beating up the Hood, and you don't really see her reaction, but it seems like she's like, okay, I guess I understand. There's some catharsis here in like seeing this guy get the shit beat out. And meanwhile, the Hood was like, this is rock bottom for me. Children kicked my ass. I am going to bounce back and become a supervillain again.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I also like that them just this stupid idea of theirs essentially kind of created a long-term villain for themselves. That's always nice.
Right. That like the Hood's gonna come back and like
Hmm.
with some kind of like he's gonna steal Reptile's thing, or because I feel like stealing powers is kind of his deal, but he's gonna have some plan to steal power.
Hmm. And I'm sure there were other storyline things that we just didn't have time to touch on or passed over or whatever.
There was a
Yeah,
weird
go
thing
ahead.
where was it Vale was really into wanting to date Justice,
Justice,
and then
yes.
got real butthurt, or her teacher, Justice, and then got real butthurt when Justice had like an adult girlfriend, which
Yes.
I'm like, it didn't thread the needle for me, like on the thing, like this is gross, like you shouldn't be into your teacher. And I understand like teenagers are into their like adult figures. Justice, I feel like entertains it a little too much than, so I felt that was a little skeevy.
Yes.
But I like
Well,
I would have.
the other staff calls him out on it too, though.
Yes,
When they're
I do
yeah.
appreciate that the staff called him out. I do. It is kind of a shame. Like, Vale is your issue one protagonist, but she's such a like nothing
Yeah.
character that
Yeah.
like she really fades, and pun intended, I guess, because she has fading into mist
Hmm.
powers. But she is like not really a character for like the next like 6 issues.
Right. And that's a problem. I tried to write like a novel like where you had like a different like POV character every chapter, like they were all part of like a group, and like the audience wants to latch on to like the first few chapter kids, and
Yeah.
then when you have to keep them in line, like whoever, it's like ducklings, you imprint on the first one you see, and then if they don't do anything, it's kind of like a weird taste. So
Right. And especially like I feel like even Reptile, who is sort of the Leonardo boring character, is like he has stuff going on with him. Hers is just like she has a crush on a teacher that is not going to go anywhere.
mhm.
And then I guess also it's set up for the next big storyline is that she is going to try to bring Wasp back, and believe it or not, it's not going to go well. It's setting up for their next big kind of event of the Korvac, the Avengers villain
Yay! Friend of the show.
yeah that we yeah that we read a long time ago. He gets brought back instead. Oops.
Oops, all Corvax.
Wow.
So,
So Corbin.
but yeah, I do because I really like Finesse, and I really like Stryker as like a piece of shit.
Hmm.
And I like Reptile as kind of the put upon leader. But I feel like Metal, Hazmat, and Vale are kind of like they could be one character between the three of them.
Yeah, they're a lot more one-dimensional. Yeah, yeah.
Especially because
Um,
Vale and Hazmat have basically the same thing, where it's just like, oh, I'm also a girl who's like dying from my powers, and I
Yeah,
can't touch anyone. It's like, yeah, me too.
yeah. They're both filling the rogue um,
Yeah, exactly.
block
mhm,
there.
mhm.
But not even like comics rogue, like Anna Paquin rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anything else to say about
I
this? I think
think
this might actually be the first one that I really do keep on reading because I'm curious about these
nice.
characters.
Yeah, it only goes for like another 30 issues or so. I mean, ultimately, like, I think it's a really well constructed book. Like the hook, like it's not the hook, but it's like it is Runaways, Young Avengers, and Thunderbolts all kind of mixed into one book, which I like. I think that the characters, I mean, we just said that like a few of them are underdeveloped, but like for the most part, like it's pretty well developed. And I'm not just like, I don't care. I sometimes with these, these books with like legacy heroes, you just want to care about like, well, what's Quicksilver up to, And I do like everything that Quicksilver's in, but but I am still interested in the kids being first and foremost in front. They're not just like boring things to get in the way of like the old heroes that I like. So I think that that's well done. And the Taskmaster issue was really good. I think generally, like I actually liked the Thunderbolts issues, like with them wanting to kill Norman Osborn. I thought it was kind of like cheaped out at the end, where they didn't kill him, and just kind of like. But I liked Norman, how he was depicted there. I think like generally this is a pretty solid little comic book. I don't think I'm going to continue reading it, but like it's pretty good.
And Chris, I guess this is your reread of it. Second thoughts?
Yeah, I really like it. I liked all the callbacks to old Avengers stuff, and I liked the kids. I think the kids, again, I complained about how there's basically three that could be one character, but the other three I think are all really good. So like that's even like Runaways, which I also really liked. It's just like, yeah, but I mean, how much does I'm trying to think of like who the worst the blonde guy in Runaways. Like he's kind of a nothing burger. So it's like all of these books have at least one more character than you really need, but you don't want to have like four characters and then feel like you don't have enough. Especially, I feel like there's at least they don't want to have like, oh, this is like four guys and one girl. Like they want to make sure it's balanced in terms of like they have Veil, Hazmat, and Finesse, so it's like 50-50.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, great stuff. Great recommendation. I loved it. So on to Ultimates number 7, I think.
With Black Widow on the cover.
Black Widow's on the cover? She was barely in this book.
Everybody was barely in this book when they were 6 pages on a stupid funeral speech.
This book was barely in this book. We got the Hulk. I mean, Bruce Banner is now, in some lockdown thing.
Don't sleep on those 6 pages of funeral.
I'm sleeping on them.
And it was
I'm
like a
sleeping
speech
on them all.
It's like a song in a Lord of the Rings book. I'm just swiping past it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It seems like Hitch traced a picture of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and that was 1 page that he didn't have to think about. And then, and I'm sure this was delayed too. I'm just getting snarky towards this. Like I'm not having a good time with this book monthly.
Yeah, monthly. Yeah, this is not good.
So we're on page 7 before that. 7 of 24 in the digital edition. So I guess it's technically page 5 if you count the recap and cover. We get to Bruce Banner stuff.
Yeah, Bruce Banner is locked up / in his own little glass room kind of thing. He's got Dr. Eamon Brankin. Is this guy anyone? Does he turn out to be Loki or something? I don't know. I just got weird vibes from that name, Eamon Brankin. I was like, what is this an anagram for? Like anytime I see a name like that. But no, I don't know who that is. But he informs him that, you're going to kind of be stuck there for a while because the Hulk stuff mixed with the super soldiers stuff is kind of like it's all bonding to his DNA, and that might be an issue. And also, they didn't tell anyone that it was him. They, nobody knows that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. Hooray!
No, there's nothing that happens with this guy.
Yep, that's it.
He just exists to tell this scene.
That's it? Yeah. That's it? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I Googled it, and he's in 3 issues, and that's it. And it's just the Ultimates. He's not in anything else.
Yeah, because I would expect this to be like, like the head of Sword or something like Captain Britain Super Science or something. I assume
right, some scientist that like the leader killed in his first appearance or something.
Right.
But no.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. At this point, what I did notice, though, is I'm surprised how much Betty Brant is in this book. I feel like she shows up in this book more than a lot of the Avengers.
What woman has the
No,
most
sorry, not
lines
Betty Brant. Betty, is it Betty Brant?
No,
yeah.
it's Betty
Ross.
Oh,
okay. Betty Ross.
Betty Ross.
Sorry. I was like,
Yes,
something's
wrong
wrong
Betty.
here.
She may have
wrong
the
Betty.
most lines of any woman in this issue.
I think so. Bruce also learns that Hank Pym is on the run because his wife has been found eaten by ants. Not eaten by ants. She's not dead, but she's been really roughed up, chewed up.
Ants got poisoned. That's where I learned this. Because they had a big domestic assault. This Hank almost killed his Janet.
Yes.
But at the same time, he didn't lay a hand on her.
Oh.
What an interesting twist.
And she slapped him. Also, the neighbors give like a full report. I'm like, how do they know that this shit happened?
Yeah, they're not in like an apartment. They're in like a home, you know? Like they were arguing about who's not pulling their weight on the superhero team. Like these neighbors were listening through the window. They were standing outside, like they were into it.
They had their little glass. You put the empty side up or whatever you do to like listen through the wall. Like, how do they know all this?
They know a lot.
It's pretty dumb, but yes, Steve, I guess, finds out about this because then that's going to be our cliffhanger: is Steve chasing Hank around.
I really thought that was the next. I thought that was the immediate issue after the issue we just read. I'm like, really? We don't even get to the Captain America trying to beat up Hank Pym issue. We skip a whole. It takes a whole other issue to get to that point.
Yeah, we had 6 issues of Mourning. We have 6 pages of Mourning. There's 2 pages here of Steve running into Bucky at the funeral stuff and paying his respects and talking to.
It's 3 pages. 3 pages.
Yeah.
And Gale, who's not Peggy.
Gale. And they're all talking and hanging out, and then Nick Fury is like, "Hey, Steve, sorry, we got to get back to the comic. Let's go." And they walk off.
And then
what else
talk
we got?
about
Yes.
they go into a diner and Betty because I guess she was Jan's roommate or something in college, and Hank's been beating her since then. He's got a dark side. I'm just like,
yeah.
I like how they accurately call it. You're a publicist. Like this is your job to like vet this guy. She's like, well, I just thought he might be better. You're fucking. This is bullshit. And then like somebody comes to get like a signature and Tony's like, look, I'm in the middle of something here right now. I can't.
Yeah, everyone is very bad at their jobs in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a diner scene and then Thor shows up.
I thought that was the end of this issue because this giant full-page Thor spread I thought was a new cover.
Yeah, like what is Thor doing here? What I don't understand. Like,
it's a cover they didn't use as a cover, so they used it to fill up a page of Thor descending. I think. I think that's all he's doing.
It probably was a cover, and they're like,
I don't understand. I don't understand the scene where he's just like, I was fighting the Midgard serpent. Seriously, I'm like, is this like he should be covered in blood or something? Like, it's not enough of a joke. Like, this is stupid.
Well, because like also though. They're still not sure if he's lying, right? And if he's just a crazy person who thinks he's a god.
Yeah. But again, like,
I get it. I get what you're saying.
But if I was Taika Waititi, I would I would put a little bit more comedy in this scene because I think they're trying to be funny with it.
Yeah.
But it's not funny as this. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of wasted space for a lot of nothing.
We do get like a half page of Black Widow. Literally, actually, is it just one panel of her saying that her and Hawkeye are going to do some shit?
Yeah, I guess they found whatever they're calling Skrulls in the Ultimate Universe, but they don't say that. But that's
because that's a weird way to establish the scene. So you show Thor like in a full page thing flying like just in the sky, and then you establish he's landing at the Triskelion for like the top half of the page, and then you cut to you see Nick Fury talking to somebody on the phone while Thor's in the background flying to the building, and then you get one panel of cover character Black Widow saying like we're gonna do some shit with the Skrulls, the Chitauri, and then it's just back to Thor and Nick Fury for the bottom third of the page, and then they talk for half a page or a page and a half, and then the back half of one page, and then 2 more pages is Captain America just zooming in on Hank Pym.
Yes, literally
Yes.
just like a CSI of someone saying enhance over and over.
For like 2.5 pages. And the last page of this is a giant full page spread of just Captain America's boring ass face sitting there. Can you transport, get me a helicopter? Like this, it is.
Wait, it's like it's so frustrating because it's like that it's not like this is like some clever thing where they're not going to show the fight. It's just like what the fight is. Why didn't we just cut to it? Like it's such bad storytelling.
Yeah.
So I felt like at the time this worked really well as just reading in the trade, and I think it's paced like a movie. Chris, did you read this issue to issue?
I did, and I liked the art, but it was also like one of those things where it came out so far apart that I would have to go back and read the issues again to remember what the fuck was going on. So I wouldn't just read one issue. I would read like 2 or 3 issues and be like, "Oh, okay."
I just like the art choices. The more I just like this. Just I mean, Hitch draws really well.
The art has not aged well either. Like I do not like it now. The amount of like photo reference tracing like is distracting.
Yeah.
I
think it was probably cool and new at the time, but like there are 22 pages of content and 3 of them are full pages, and one is of a cathedral, one is of that Thor flying, and then one is of Captain America's dumb face. Like that's a third of your page or a seventh of your page content is just those 3 pages.
And this book is late, and it's just like you're not drawing anything. Yeah. Like you're not doing even like a 4-panel grid. Mm-hmm. You're just doing 1 splash page. Like it's this book is so bad.
Well, hey, it's gonna get better with the next one. We got Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver on the cover, and there's nothing weird or wrong about them, right?
No. Friends of the show.
Issue the experts.
Yeah. They're looking real I'm looking at the first page. They look Matrix as fucking hell. Oh my god.
Such the authority.
Jesus. I'm embarrassed to have this.
I can't. We can't read the authority. I'm not going to ruin that memory in my head.
No, we're not going to read the authority.
You don't need to do that.
No. But what are we reading next time? Well, as I mentioned, Ultimates number 7. And then the other thing that we're reading. No, this was Ultimates number 7. We're reading Ultimates number 8 next time. And then our main read is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, with art by Bilkis Evely. 8 issues, Eisner nominated series. What year was this? Like 2020?
21, 22.
Okay, great. I don't know that I've ever read like just a Supergirl comic.
I think I have now that you say
yeah. And we haven't talked much about Supergirl on this show. There haven't been a lot of notable Supergirl comics that I'm aware of. But this is supposed to be a good one. She's got a movie coming out. This was supposed to be a big, inspiration for the movie.
Yeah, it's heavily based on this book.
Friend
of the show, my cousin Mitch, who was like in one of our first episodes with like Long Halloween, was like, "Yo, have you read Supergirl? It's really good." So it's highly recommended by cousin Mitch.
There is it's been a long time since I read it, but there is a good YA Supergirl and the Adventures in the 8th Grade, I think it's called. Ooh. That I think your kids would like, Vince.
Hell yeah!
And so I have read Supergirl. I've also read Bronze Age Supergirl. That is funny but not good. And I've read some of the Mark Waid 90s Supergirl, which is pretty good, but it's a 90s book, so it doesn't hold up amazing, but it's better than you might think.
Cool. So yeah, we got Ultimates number 8 and some Supergirl next time. And until then, let's see, what do we got to plug? Chris, what is Your Stupid Minds podcast doing?
So we just recently had Nico Mesa on the podcast to talk about Guns, the 3rd movie in the franchise of like Playboy Playmates and Penthouse Pets shooting guns and catching international smugglers and super criminals. It was a lot of fun to talk about.
What year
Eric
was that?
Estrada, 1990.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Erica Estrada and Danny Trejo play two of the villains. So they have kind of a slightly higher level of goon in that movie. And by the time this comes out, we should have another episode. We will complete our tetralogy of Three Ninjas movies.
Whoa.
We are not going to ever do, I don't think, a podcast about the Hulk Hogan one, but I did a
High Noon
written
and Mega
review
Mountain?
of it. Yes.
With Lonnie
I
Anderson?
did. Yes, I did a written review of that back in like 2006.
Beautiful.
But we have since reviewed Three Ninjas Knuckle Up, where they join some Native Americans, and Three Ninjas Kickback, where it's like Karate Kid 2, they go to Japan. And so now we are reviewing the original Three Ninjas, where they play a basketball game.
It's like Home Alone meets Ninja Turtles. That's what it says on the VHS box.
It is like that.
Wow.
Chris, do you remember at Trinity Theater down in the Cross Under? Every time I saw like any type of furniture with dust, I would write Rocky Hearts Emily on it everywhere. That I do recall that.
Rocky loves Emily.
Vince, not only did I remember as we were watching the movie and Colt and Tum Tum were doing the Rocky Loves Emily like chant, I turned to my fiance and was like, Vince used to quote this all the time.
Amazing. Yep. I'm glad that that's still stuck in your head.
That hearing children chant that at their brother makes me think of being
a grown man
back at Trinity.
Wow.
Thank you, Kate, for singing along with it.
Of course, it's one of my favorite songs of all time.
I don't know my son's phone number, but I do know that. So.
Oh yeah, that's never leaving my mind.
You're like the Taskmaster, but for remembering 90s stupid movies.
Yeah.
Also, your son has a phone number? Like, that's so weird just as a thing to say, Vince. Right. And I'm ending the show. You don't even get a plug. You never have a plug anyway, so we're ending it. I'm not plugging anything. I don't love anyone. We're done. We're at it.
I don't love anyone.
I don't love you, Vince.
I don't love you either.
I don't love you, Chris.
Wow. And I had a great thing all lined up, and now it's just going to go to waste.
Wow. And listeners, I hate you. I hate that these kids have phones. Old man yelling
I'm
at
okay with them having the phone. It's the number that's the problem.
It's the number. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.